Hey guys, how are you? Hey, I'm back with the build, and as you can see, I have this white panel that I'm putting on the back of my lights. Now, what do you think this is? Can somebody guess? And so, when I got this panel, I got it just as you were seeing. It has a protective coating on both sides, front and the back, and so I taped it up against the lights by taking the front frames off the lights. As you can see, I took these frames off, and then I put these the panel right against them and taped just to see how it's gonna be. So what I notice is, first, as you can see, the length of the panel is about a centimeter short on this side and roughly about that much or a little less than that on the right side. So I would say the panel should be about an inch longer than what it is, because if you have a longer one you can trim it down, but when you have a short one it's hard to elongate it. I'm gonna have to figure something out what I'm gonna do to fill up this gap right here, but that's not my concern right now. My concern is uh, to mount this on the backlights and on the frame of the backlights. Now this is the frame right here. So what I did is I got these brackets. These are 2-inch brackets, the L brackets, as you can see, 2-inch by 2-inch, and it's only like 1/16 of an inch thick, so that's not bad. So what I want to do is I want to glue one side of the bracket onto the panel, and the other side will go onto the light itself, the frame of the light, just like that. And since this is a bit long, I can mark it and I can cut with my side angle. That's not an issue. And what I'll do is I'll attach the panel to the bracket either with epoxy or PL glue, one of the two, to hold that, and by putting right against the panel itself, as you can see, against these lights. So and the other thing is, since these are the L brackets, if you look closely, it's really not touching the panel. Like, there's a bit of a gap because uh, this is not 90-degree, as you can see here. Now you can see it better. So it's angled. The panel is going to be following the angle of the lights, and for this I have to change the angle on the bracket right here by putting in the vise and opening it up a little bit until I can get that right angle, and then put the bracket on. So I'm thinking to put a bracket right where this one is, and then another bracket right about here, and same thing on the left side, one bracket here and one bracket towards the end, or maybe at the end. So this way it will hold the again the panel against the frames of the light. And for this side I was also thinking to get another brackets and put them against like that, to hold it from the side. Of course, a smaller bracket, not this big, something maybe like this one here. And this is like, I think, 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, so something like that. And again, glue on one side, and on the body side I'll drill a hole and screw that in. So so I can put this panel on, and this way it will be connected from the top and the sides, so it shouldn't go anywhere. It will stay where it is. And because I don't have that fiberglass bumper with the channel that runs into it for to put this panel in that channel, so I have to rest it against the bumper, and I don't want to glue it to the bumper because that's not going to be right either. So this is where I am, a little bit of fiddling around and figuring around to see how I am going to do that. And as for this, the little bit of edge here, which is a little more than the line of the body, that can easily be trimmed down with the side grinder or even with the sandpaper by cutting exactly matching to the body line and just taking it off like that. So yeah, And that actually, once it's done on both sides, that's going to be also good, because then this panel will sit flushed with the body, and that's the whole idea, to have this, flushed with the body, or against, against the light, and see how it goes, because I have a feeling that, it might not flush, against the body, because as you can see, the lights are still extending out. You can see that there. So we'll see, once I get to that stage, I'll see. And then the third thing that I notice is, look at this. When I put this against, there's a lock right in there, and that lock is against the panel. So what I'm thinking is, for the cars that had completely flat panel, and doesn't have this curve that's sticking out a little bit right in the center part, what they must have done, they must have taken the lock out. Once you take the lock out, then the panel will go right against, flush against that, and you can put the L brackets or something from into and glue it to the panel and have it mounted like that too. So, and or the other option I'm thinking is, to drill a hole where the lock is, just cut a round hole and have this panel go right against, the lock there, and the lock, so this will sit around the lock and will flush with the rest of it. And so this way I'll have an option of opening the car from the outside as well as from the inside, because once you take that lock out, then the only way you can unlock the trunk is from the inside. And God forbid, if you have a low battery or something happens and you don't have, the current coming to the back, you will not be able to unlock this, the hatch. So I'm just thinking, a bit of from the practical side point too. I mean, aesthetically, it will look great, uh, flushed, just like the replicas. Just like the Night Riders were. But in this case, I really don't want to take the lock out. One, the lock is riveted, so I have to drill the holes. Here, I'll show you. I don't know if you can. Let me see if I can turn the light on. Yeah, no, I'm not able to turn the light on, but you might be. Let me see. See, right there is the lock, and then there are rivets. There are 4 rivets, holding the lock there. So I have to drill those rivets out and then undo the lock. So it's a bit of a work. But like I said, for the practical purposes, I think I should leave the lock in there and just cut around it, because lock can be painted black, so it will actually, go with the panel. What do you guys say? What should I do? One, take the lock out, and just to have aesthetic for the panel to go in flat without the locks exposed through the panel. Or second, drill a round hole and have the lock protrude through the panel, so this way panel sits flush with the around the lock, and I'll have access both with the key and the automatic mechanism of unlocking the hatch. So these are the 2 options. So let me know what you think. And because today, now it's getting really, really cold outside, and I don't think I'll be able to do much anymore today, but maybe tomorrow or the after. And I'll be back working on this, because I really want this panel to go on the car now, as that's going to be the first thing that people can see and say, okay, the car, something is happening. Otherwise, the car looks exactly like a stock car, and people just hear me talking about it. The other thing is that this bumper, I have a 84 bumper, so I'm going to take this bumper out and put the 84 bumper on, so the rear bumper is going. Maybe I should do that. Maybe first I should change the bumper, and second, put the panel on. But you guys still have to tell me what kind of panel I'm putting on. Is it just this white one, or there's something else that is protecting this panel? So that's put that in the comments below, and let me know. Alright guys, this is for it for now, and I'll see you guys on the second episode.